I forgive all in the name of Allah, the most gracious, and I for wish everybody like the people of this country will celebrate the holy month of Ramadan. For extend on behalf of the government of Salone, on behalf of the Ministry of Information and Civil Education, a hearty Ramadan Kareem to all. I pray that Allah will make all enjoy the blessing. I want to welcome all again to this edition of the very special press conference with press and civic engagement with the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, the Green Council now. Where we talk about issues that really affect we in this country and follow we engage. Today we get a very high-powered panel, and when we start, we go straight into the conversation. I want to take this opportunity to tell plenty thank you to my brother Yusuf Keketoma Sandi, we are the press secretary for His Excellency. We host last week. The previous week, I also want to tell thank you to my colleague, Mr. Imran Sila. We host. So people then can ask questions, hey, why this person host, why this person host? Which will commit to learn that we work as one government and we bring calm people with relevant for the conversation. And the conversation they continue respect of that day nowadays. So that's now one commitment we'll get, and we'll continue to do this in a very big way as we know the law. I want to thank you as well to Una, the Further Estate, and all the partners that we can with live. Thank you to Sarah Wata, with the Wata, Orange, with the Internet Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the host and support the people who will make sure so we get sign language so that we're inclusive and all that. I just do two basic news items and then I'll turn to the panel. So in a big panel, I'll get in time. It's not big issues we get, and I'll get in time for them to talk directly to the people of this country. Number one, we issued a press release yesterday. A gentleman by the name of Abubakar Conte, then be arrested in Guinea for an alleged. Some people don't know the English word day. So you better talk about it. In alleged role in the November 26 failed coup. The press release say Abubakar Box concept in Guinea, he remained in the process of trying for escape from Guinea to Senegal with the joint security operation between Salone and Guinea, the OLAM, and then plan for bringing and come Salone for like it can face questions from the authorities. They also suspect say this man he and the Pankush business. So now the two things that they will learn for. Again, the English word suspect means say he still get right. They therefore come, they will ask a question, he innocent until they prove him guilty. People they don't ask questions all over social media. Why they not be in name not be there at the wanted list? So my answer intelligence way they operate, you know, and I mean always talk about the list, say the list not exhaustive. I always talk about I say every day based on the intelligence, then they add, then they remove. And sometimes, as part of the intelligence, then they left person where you no say we no say involved. We no put in the public because sometimes they take time for stop this person. Then we leave it to other people. So let people let me clear. Say just because you name not like the list, no means they don't hold you. The law not they go by list. The law they go by website and gets intelligence, what's the information what the states get and the states they use, and then they use for execute. So that make, and I also want to reiterate, including the one the way they don't charge. Nobody not the way they hold na salon when they say guilty. When they hold you know means they guilty. It means that the state suspects you, the state get reasonable reason for belief say you involved. You get you in a court and you go prove, through the court of law whether you're guilty or not, and then they will make a decision. So I want one way to comment on this issue. I want to be an opportunity to follow clarify. Issue number 2 is an announcement. Next week, instead of here, we will be to Manu. We will do a major town hall on Kush, on the Kush crisis. All the government ministers that we get portfolio will involve this. Internal affairs, AG, youth, social welfare, information will all be there. All the civil society groups that really are activists on this issue. We invite the drug enforcement agency. We bring religious leaders. We bring paramount chiefs, community leaders. We all get a major town hall at the same time for talk about what we all don't do so far, and we will provide evidence. The one they waiting on social media, we say they know that they bring Kush. Now we ask us to count the evidence forward because we're ready for act. The state is acting, we're ready for doing more. Now, one thing for the social media, they point out on somebody without any basis. Another thing for them bring the evidence the way can, because we also know live in a society where they waking up only normal and say you and they can push and not get no way for proof say you and they. So we want to live in a society where it's an open conversation. This is an issue of importance to we all. And some of we get plenty for say. But as I say, next week, inshallah, Tuesday, same time, also we will be in a mental conference. All now our journalists they already cover this live on our daily, but we also invite civil society, activists, student leaders who will pack that hall and we will discuss waiting all for doing a salon for tackle and with our own collective responsibility for fight against the deadly Kush virus. Okay. And at the updates and we get time for this morning, this afternoon. Now, I have a particularly welcome a very distinguished panel we'll get here today. We are really in only introduction, but we will still show una will get the panel. I know say people know they talk plenty about these two sectors we'll get here today. On the far left, I'm very, very honored for the first time at the press conference. It don't come before a press conference, but this is the first time it don't come at a weekly press conference. I get one nickname I can call a man, this is the Honorable Julius Matai, who is the Minister for Mines and Mineral Resources. He can't be for share a vision as a minister, the steps that we don't take for bring sanity, for push the sector go forward, in your reforms that we embark on. Today, an opportunity for them to talk to her directly, and also to clarify some things that we need at the news, within the position of the government of Sierra Leone when it comes to this sector. Next to the Honorable Matai, now his sister, chairperson, Marie Bangoa, we come on at the Western Area Rural Youth Council. We really want to continue to involve the youth leaders then in the conversation, and he will share perspective, youth perspective on the two sectors that we'll be talking about today. And then my brother on the right, this man is one of the most popular men in this country. Because every day, social media will ask me about EXA. So today, we don't bring cancer on the very distinguished Dr. Joe Lahai Somana, who is the Director General for the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority. Beaucoup misunderstand the on-end sector here, and today we can give the opportunity for them to clarify, then ask more questions, and then we take it forward. Now, without further ado, we'll start with mines. And I'll hand the microphone over somebody who always a fantastic communicator. Now, the way he communicates is detailed. He focus on the facts. Mr. Minister, I will give you, 8 minutes for let you frame the conversation for me. Since you take over as Minister of Mines, what's not the vision, what's not the step we don't take, what's not the achievements then. You just give people that help them understand what's in Minister Matai they do la minds and the step they will take. And as I've been shared with you, I will likely also use that this opening towards the end for address some of the what I would call dominant news related to the sector around, I think, particularly Seattle time. So I think the microphone there on that side, and you can turn it on, and it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and the audience out there globally with the followers. Thank you very much, Minister Pa, for the introduction and for setting the context. Yes, I'm the first in this for the Canada for this press conference.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the shots. Okay. Anytime from now.
Thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity for council to call a global audience, not only the media really here. First of all, I want to make it clear that the issue is also in the mining sector and the bread basket of Sierra Leone. I mean, that's how the phrase all man can use. And they will not mine there for over 9 decades. The general complaint is Sierra Leoneans do not benefit from that mining where it takes place in the country. So it means it's very clear if one says we have a vision in terms of when the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources in July 2023, which I can do. But at the same time, I just want also to remind everybody that I'm not just the mining sector. Before the appointed Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, very early in 2019, me and the Director General at the National Minerals Agency. That's now the technical wing and the technical professional wing of the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources with the advice Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. So from being in the position who side and we regulate and advise the minister, I'm now in the position where I have to be advised and where we formulate policies. And the difference in that means every government vision, policies, papers really out there, and make it for criminal cabinet and inform the other ministers and in terms and advise the government to do. So with that, very clear over the years that we vision very simple. We have to make sure say the mining sector works for Sierra Leoneans. Why should they also seek for attract investment and guide the investors that for them to do the right things right. When I say the sector for Sierra Leoneans, it for affect the whole welfare, it for improve on the economy, improve all the issues what we call sustainable development, be it economic, be it environmental, or be it socio-economic. That's the bigger picture. The mining sector for work for the country and people, including the communities who say mining will take place. And that vision, not until we knew, it's been there even before I became Minister of Mines. But I want also to let we understand the mining sector is very complex. The mining itself, I can ever tell everybody apart from artisanal mining, we make it call a casino economy, where man physically just go there, get a shovel, go visit a shrine or Baba, it's a new side time or a gold day. It's very expensive, it's very capital intensive. You have to put a lot of money inside, full of risk, and the profits can come very late. So for do that, over the decades from the time when the last Sierra Leone government gets any share in any mining company was the days of SLST and DMC, then that's 1985 ago. All the investors are in the country are private investors. So it means how we have for engagement for make sure say which I don't say set up for work for the country and the people there. It means we have a lot of tasks. Because when they say they can't mine, they know to charity, they know to NGO. There is some that they can't, they go to Glow, they can invest with hope, they can get some winning, we will learn from the win-win perspective, win for the community, win for the government, win for the investors. So with that said also, even though, yes, we are the government of Sierra Leone, we get to look at the bigger picture as well. So that vision will be set up within the context of Africa, we get what you call the African Mining Vision of 2009. We say we will try as African countries then beneficiate, domesticate, value addition of the country to make sure say this work for broadly sustainable development. We get to also do that in the context of ECOWAS, which will get directive and the guidelines of the principles and policies on the mining sector and as well as mining development policies. We get to do at national level, which I previously in 2018 we get the National Medium-Term National Development Plan. We don't just we don't get the new one. We start from 2024 to 2030. So with that then the guidance and they do. The Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources is not responsible for policy formulation, whereas the NMA, the technical wing, that then regulate. Why should they do this? We get for the ensure say that vision rather talk about the sector benefits every Sierra Leonean. We get to take some steps, some goals, who will say this is to do and work. As I mentioned earlier, the law and the regulations get to work. 1927, we'll get the first law in mining, when the Just Mineral Act. They revised in 1960, they'll get the Revised Mineral Act. Beyond that, national they happened until 1994, get the mining decree. I think the first, I call it not to revolution, or revolution will take place in the mining sector. In 2009, we'll get the Mines and Minerals Act. Until we spent the past few years to try to update that, making sure we get, just last year, the Mines and Minerals Development Act of 2023, and then the Mines and Minerals Regulation. Because without the law, without the regulations, without the policies for guiding, we will get a problem. Forget about the diamond, gold, bauxite, iron, which I will get. And in 2018, the government began up with the minerals policy, the carbon regulator policy, and the artisanal mining policy. So that then they guide me as a minister for doing what I do. So we set very clear goals. We get to make sure say we revise all the law there, because the mining companies already can get money, they get access to the best lawyers, the best advice, that then say they change the game as we go, the land what we law. So we need to make sure say we say remain, keep abreast of the law, and the challenges that we get, to make sure say we obey with law the day. And we could not do that, because I can always say the act will get, the act will change the law, the part of the law, until you augment that act with regulations and other statutory instruments together, and they actually allow you to do that. So we want to make sure say the goals that we set yourself, that we revise the law in the current based on knowledge, because whereas some years back people have been talking about gold and diamond, over the years we don't see water don't come, bauxite don't come in. Now we talk about rare minerals, we talk about gold sand, we talk about heavy mineral sands. and the methods that we need to use, we have to make sure they update. We also get to make sure we update with knowledge about geological survey and the data they will get. Because you get to know what you get before you send it to somebody. Like we don't follow in 2019, 2020, we do the nationwide geological survey. We give you some idea. We say we mineral anomalies in the. You know, they tell you exactly, we say everything there exactly, not just a concept. But then they tell we see now that the kind of grade of iron ore bauxite where so it needs to do more work. So they do now, they try to train young men and young women. We give them scholarship and let them go study. So that person will meaningfully regulate the mining sector. We also work with NRA, Ministry of Finance, to make sure so we set the right fiscal regime, the taxes, so that they pay the license fees, the royalties, so that that will go into the consolidated fund for allow the government to undertake the development that we need for do, according to the various programs that we all set. At the same time, as much as we allow foreign direct investment to the country, we also encourage local participation. We want to empower we Leone and brothers and sisters, you know, our countrymen, let us play an active role in the mining sector. I personally want to go with in the mining sector. Not to possible to wait for royalties and there, so we try to work with Leoneans. We also make sure that when we don't get in the mining economy, their rights are respected. To make sure citizens are on board, not to just go and take security and forget people in meaningful position. Then we know say mining they happen normally have to reach communities, you know. Communities that like you always tell your colleagues, I say, let's run the communities who say, what can't you get in mine box, who say they're coming in and also, who says you are telling today, who say we met within Gundama. In all these areas, the communities they don't benefit much. So they actually try to make sure, say, health and safety issues and community relationships they work. So that are the important things that we set for ourselves. And we're on that path. As I say, we don't really already update the Mines and Minerals Act and regulations. And at the same time, as I don't say, rather than rely on those things, we don't work with other government ministries and departments and agencies. We work with the Ministry of Finance, we work with at the Judge's Office for set up for the first time since the days of NDNC, which we call Leone Mines and Minerals Development Corporation Act, where they allow the government itself for setting your entities. So rather than rely on those royalties, 3% here and there, and just license fees, that the government becomes an active player. For allow the government as well through that entity they for set a special purpose vehicle when accompanies them and we sell from equity Botswana and the other countries there, we get mineral wealth fund. So we'll establish that and we'll work with the Ministry of Finance and other MDAs to do that. At the community level, areas outside Diamond, they remind we go to call Diamond Area Community Development Fund. For make sure that those communities where mining will take place in terms of artisanal diamond, you know, we get some percentage of the export duties and give them back. Just this last December, over 8 billion was disbursed, and we are asking for not to free money, for make sure say they come up with projects that we have for regulated together with the Ministry of Local Government and the Community Affairs to do that. At the same time, when I've done this over the years, you know, large sums of money by Kingo Mining Company, Marampa, you know, they disburse to the communities, local community development agreement and funds. So they undertake that. At the same time, the artisanal sector, we also try to make sure we don't revise the law. We actually allow people to use machinery regulated and making sure they're not damage the environment to send a damage reliability time. At the same time, we go and undertake conferences, we promote the country actively for make sure where investors they can, not only for regulating but also supporting guide them. That brings me to conclude the burning issues we all manage on Sierra Rutile. Sierra Rutile, of course, we already see in the news. First, we get issues with them as the government. 2021 May, they began to read the terrorists as an entity that is struggle. But before that, Sierra Rutile, as it is, since 1967, and they began operating in that area. We said the Mobimo, Bangabele, Pejebo West, they don't go Bani, they don't go Lanti. They don't change company from one company to the next, from the days when the British they be there till they go to the resources, consolidated minerals, they don't go to Iluka left, you know, they get in 2016, they left. Now the Sierra Rutile will get it today. I just want to make it clear to people. When they come in, they can be called multinationals. Then they set up a subsidiary on the register. But the parent company, they're outside Sierra Leone. So this Sierra Rutile we talk about limited Sierra Leone. Against the parent in Australia, who consider Sierra Rutile Holdings Limited. A public company registered on the public on the Australian Stock Exchange. In between them, we get 4 other companies who own this Sierra Rutile there. Two of them, they didn't British Virgin Island, the other one the UK, and the other one the Australia. So now so they restructured them. Then they left the Peking whereas the grandpa knew by now. So two things. The structure will be locally now. Now then we say then we strong 2021. The government go give the concessions. Because they say the one, make sure say the area will say they mine area one, they don't need mine under from where I look at to count 2016, that they struggle operationally. So the government said, look, okay, we don't want people that lost job, we will give them some opportunity here, which will confiscate regime. By law, we'll give mining license enough for mining export. But then at the same time, some companies that can they say because of the level of investment they do, they will let me what I call mining lease agreement. We're not too mandatory because we will not get time, but out of good faith, depending on the investment they can allow them. So the government agreed is one. They didn't pay what we call corporate income tax, which will be 25%. So they call pay what we call minimum turnover tax. The government reduced it from 3.5% to 0.5%. Royalties, it means when you produce, you sell. You give the government some money back. They will pay 4%. Reduce it to 0.5%. When you get what we call cost of duty, they pay 6.5%, reduce it to 0.5%. They get also what we call fuel import duty, reduce it from 12% to 1%. Then also we get what we call, withholding tax, management fees and interest, we reduce it to almost 0. Straight away, before the year 2022, they make profits over $76 million. I mean, just imagine. Now, when I use tax money, they will reduce. We already are. To let this company continue to operate. They tell me, say, with that, they know the area won't say they operate. But when they don't make this profit, before the year they make over $30 million. You say, well, when I go back, we pay because the country is struggle. They say they need one. Because we don't sign an agreement in 2021, will be the concessions. So, the Ministry of Finance writes to them, not to financial experts, but at least we can engage them. Say, well, wait, when I look at it back, maybe they'll move something in 2021. But they get agreement when they sign in 2001, 2002. They tell the country doesn't come up at war. And during the time they said the structure they don't operate, they able to go care maintenance because they suspended 1995, they don't become in 2006. Then terms and conditions that we exist 22, 23 years ago, they said, no, I know for them. So the government don't engage them. Then they tell me, say, okay, because of that, if you not agree, then they can suspend the operations. And then we'll make people that redundant. But we'll give you license, you get rights and obligations. Now the right to suspend the operation by law, if not for technical and operational reasons, for 100 days, but you get to seek the approval of the minister. If you are redundant, again, you get to engage in relevant government ministries, departments, and agencies. And the third agreement will be evident because they don't make anybody redundant as to make a consent. So they will ultimatum. They say by March 11, if you don't really try to sit on the table, and we'll say, okay, for this is a body issue. And at the first opportunities we'll get, I don't keep quiet. Sometimes they fight for top class. And when I went there, one of the most important people there, I think they will not really for Zella to amplify what I say. So, then say they will go ahead and suspend the operation. The right to January 25th, we wait because the law make it clear. We write letter say you want to suspend if you provide all the documents back for support. So we go allow the minister to make a decision whether to approve the suspension or whether for institute an investigation or maybe the 100 days way they're entitled to reduce. They don't send a report. They go ahead, they don't suspend. Some of them will not see the right letter today. For say they don't do it legally. We might not get money as a country, but we should put you submit the law. Okay, read that. I made a big regulatory agencies together with the ministry. So we tell them, say, before we have not say that letter 25th, and only complete the letter will get, the document will get on the levels of margin. So by law, I've consulted him in 7 days, then me write to them now whether I don't approve the suspension or the redundancy program according to the third agreement, they don't do that. You don't need for be a lawyer to realize if you don't do something per law, now breach of obligation. So they don't talk, say we're not correct, they will write to we will still wait. Now the other people that don't see pastoral route side, they say come the PRM, LLC, the Puerto Rico, Sierra Route we on the Australian Stock Exchange, we normally call it SRX. The day that they want to take over, they want to buy them over, they want to buy the shares. People that they ask me, what is your opinion, what should they do? And they see some press releases, they do, they say, not allow that, they want to manipulate, monopolize the sector. Because Manpower is limited, their CEO created, and they tell people that we have to be careful. Sure, Hold is limited with Australia and a public company registered by Australian Stock Exchange. Anybody can buy share for you, whether Nakabuli, Komodo, or Kathmandu, or even if in Vietnam. So if company they want to buy shares, they're purely business to business. Which is concerned whether they don't buy the shares, we want to register by law. If you get more than 5% share, you have to register with the mining, which we call MCAS, Mining Cadastral Administrative System, and make sure, see, because it's a signatory to the EITI, Eastern Extractive Industries Technical Initiative. Yeah? If you get more than 5%, we go to co-beneficial ownership, so they have to disclose that. So we will wait, at this stage, I'm not going to express opinion whether they do illegally right or not, because now two entities are outside the jurisdiction of Sierra Leone, where they do it normal business that we do on the stock exchange, they do buy shares and that, and swap ownership, joint venture here and there, mergers and acquisition. So that they will deal with Sierra Leone, and they still wait for the letter there. Whether they talk say we're not correct, it's what you will say. They will take and they also will consult with lawyers then and take it from there. So I will stop there for now. Thank you very much that I go more than the 8 minutes. But importantly, we'll add extra 5 minutes so that the community, the media will come here, let's be articulate that clearly. And thank you very much. I'll stop there for now.
I will tell and say the minister is a fantastic communicator. You can say whatever you want to say, but you don't accuse and say, you don't know what to talk about. I can always say that about my colleagues there and this particular minister. He understands the sector, he gets details of the sector. And just for reiterate, since this day at the news, say I would say, the government of Salon don't write we own position to them. When I mention this bridge here, this bridge, but when I forget say the same law we rely on, say we before do something we not do. We don't throw the ball back to them. So now we wait for the reform there. On this question of what will happen between two foreign listed companies and ownership, the minister in view is until they don't for arrange the kind of have, we're not involved. When they don't arrange them, they decide now when they come by law, they need for canal for car register, whatever, at that time the government of Salon will get an opinion and go review. So all the headlines, joke, this is what they do. I want to follow the law. Law follow and seek information, they tell me we will not get this information. I say plenty of listen across, not just Salon, but across the world. And I want to make sure say that point is made clear. Now they come to issue number 2. So if you get questions on mines, rights and law, we get a link, you send out through the link, we slide the link, then I will poster, go online, you send out, use the text link, you can scan and write there, and I'll show you the answer any and all questions I have today. EDSA. Few months ago, I think now, we get the Honorable Minister of Energy, Dr. Kaida Sinaya, and he explained that in your role, policy guidance, supervision, and leadership of the sector, like our minister explained. Then you get agency, they now win a daily responsibility for execute, for do different things there. Today, we get the man we name the lead the agency we responsible for distribute and supply the power. So we like to know this person no. Now we understand how the sector works. And Dr. Jola Samana, they can provide for me, help we follow understand the context, and help for situate what the EDSA do, the reforms them, the constraints and the challenges them, and let we all see because this is like collective responsibility. What is in your calls?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Minister Matale and Madam Mary Bakura, and members of the press, and for the one who joined online, good afternoon all. As the Minister said, Jola Aishaman, I'm the Director General for EDSA. What happened when Minister Matale talk? They just represent what we go through on a daily basis. Whenever lights go, the first reaction is EDSA. All right? But clearly in this room, we all know what happened, not to EDSA. And the hope is that as we go through this conversation at the end, the Deputy Minister Bass say, we will look for understand exactly which is an EDSA role in the entire energy chain, and when it is appropriate and okay for pointing finger by EDSA, when you may want to consider what could be the other reasons why, like no day. Okay, so EDSA, we permanent mandate, as the name suggests, not for distribute and supply light. Okay, that's what we're supposed to do, and we came about after the passing of the 2011 Act. We unbundled NPA. Back then, that be NPA. After the unbundled NPA, 3 entities came out. EGTC, when they generate and transmit power. EDSA, when they distribute and supply power. And then we get EWRC, when they regulate what we do. So even as EDSA, they just grab the things on the own that I need to consult with and get approval before they move. We supply light to the public by actually buying the power. As EDSA, we don't generate light. And this point is very important for the world to understand. Okay? We know they generate light. Now buy what you buy, and they will buy them, then we sell. What we sell, the hope is that the end user will contract with service, either through prepaid meters or postpaid meters, will pay for the light we don't use. And then we will take that money back and go buy again and repeat the cycle. Now, when President Joe took over government in 2018, and I just state some facts because I'll put context on the conversation. Okay? When President Joe came in 2018, the amount of light we will use, in particular in our Freetown, we will say peak or non-carbon within the network, was just about 52 megawatts of power. Okay. And at that time, as EDSA, we total number of customers that be about 194,000 customers. Fast forward to now, what has happened? The demand on the network, okay, is about 72 megawatts of power. More than almost 50% now we increase that demand in terms of our peak utilization. Okay? The customer base will also increase from 190 to over 320 megawatts. 320,000 customers. Now, what does this mean? Over the past 5-6 years, as a government, we're going to increase the access to power from about 16% to today, we will see at roughly 36%. The one thing about light is that as you begin to supply light, the demand is more. Light, not the ever do. But we sit at the position we're in. Now we the shape light. And we the only shape which we get. Okay? Over the same period, when we don't experience huge growth in demand, the reality is that the rehabilitation and expansion of this network not only keep up with the demand for power. Okay? So now what has happened is, because as a government, we provide more light, more people are not demanding more power, And what that means now is that we serve as a government, we don't do quite a lot, and I'll highlight some of them, in terms of making sure more power is accessible. Because we don't go from the 52 megawatts to about 70 now as peak utilization. The actual amount of peak power demanded in Freetown is about 120, 130, based on our rough estimates there. And the reality is, the current network where we get, okay, we can only safely evacuate about 70, 75 megawatts of power. Okay? So we have a city, Freetown, that is where if all one get light at the same time, 24 hours a day, I need for send up to 120 megawatts of power. But the reality is the network, the state of the network today, if I want to run safely, I have to operate within 70 to 75 megawatts. If I mistake, say because I get all this pressure and I want to give all my light, therefore I send everything through, we may not have a network. So these are the realities, and these are things that we have to manage on a daily basis. Okay? As a government, we understand and we respect the fact that everybody deserves access to light. That's the dream of the president, that's the goal of the minister, and that's what I try to implement on a day-to-day basis. But the reality is that, given the current state, if we try, it's a big problem. I can always say, or put this into proper context. Imagine as a family, you get 2 pequeños, and then over time, either you colleagues or other say, hey, I travel or another for the left the pequeños. And over time, you go to 5, 6, 7 picking. But initially, now 2 corporates will be each. We don't add now to 5, 6, 7 picking, now the same 2 corporates they cook. What happens? So man go for school. All man will get food again. And the reality is, all man will eat at the same time. That's just to put context on our situation. We, as a city, as a country, because these governments don't provide more light, there is more demand for it. But we're not able to keep up in terms of expansion and rehabilitation for keep up with growing demand. But the minister is aware, the president is aware, and frantic efforts are being made, working with our donor partners for ensure that we close this gap. As I sit here, if you go along the east now, you will notice that there is massive work going with the past string lines from along the Wellington and beyond. When that's completed, and the hope is we will finish that day sometime in June, that will allow you for send more light to that part of town. Simultaneously, we'll also extend the network to the far west, Sussex and beyond. But again, all these things cost money and they take time. I mean, we understand the demands of the public, and we agree, say yes, it's your right, but let's be patient and allow the government to work these things through. Because as I say, if we as EXA, as a government, decide, say, yes, because of the pressure, they say, no matter what, they'll give all man light at the same time, 24 hours a day. It's not go easy. We might end up losing the network. That's just the reality. I let you bring an American man, you call Chinese man. That's the fact. So it really left to you now how you want to accept that. But that's just the reality. You will not be able to give past which you get. If the city is demanding 120 megawatts, if I can only safely, the key word there is safety as well. We know they just say G-light, G-light, G-light. We have to have safety considerations. If when I get lesser, we have to make those tough decisions. When to give, when not to give, who to give, how to give. And it's not always easy, it's not always straightforward, because you are managing a limited resource. But with the intervention of the government and working with our donor partners, we believe, say, we are on the right path. Because over the past 6 years, we don't increase access, it would not even increase the amount of power they pump inside the network. So clearly, there is hope, and there's, from which I see it, and based on what you know, I believe that we are on the right path. It will take us time, we will get there slowly. In addition to the fact that the network itself will not outgrow and it's undersized, the other challenge we face at EDSA, okay, is that for now, we only inject power into the network from one way side, and into 161. What does that mean? Like the commoner from the car power ship, we get light from Bunguna, we get light from the solar plants in Makeni, but when they all come, they can't meet the 161. The 161 substation is not managed by EDSA. It is run by EGTC, our sister company. Now, then therefore do their own engineering now, synchronize, combine all the sources there before they send an EDSA. It is at that point that I take over as EDSA for beginning to make a decision as far as how I shape the light. Why is that important? When you have one single injection point without redundancy in the system, what will happen? Whenever we get problem at 161 and the network will give light into the network, everybody get off. Okay? Again, at that point, the light not even coincide to EDSA, is still there on the other side. Bear in mind, with the unbundling, the roles have been distributed. EDSA, we own role now for supply and distribute power. EGTC, they own role now for generate and transmit power. Of course, along with EGTC and other independent power providers there, okay? Now that they collectively they allow you to get all the power sources there, who will they combine for shape to the public. So that
I need you to
wrap up.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
I know you have a few more important issues
Yes.
on revenue, so maybe we'll
Yes.
go to that. Yeah.
So that is really one of the main challenges that we face at EDSA. One injection point, when there's a problem, there's an issue. Ideally, what you will find in most networks, you get 2 or 3 injection points. So if issue then you will feed from the other side and reverse the line and still backfeed everybody else. But as it stands now, if you can go out, what will it be? Everybody's out. Okay? So having a second or even third injection point will go a long way in terms of helping us. The other challenge we face at EDSA is, like how I said earlier, we know they buy light. I mean, we know they generate light rather. Now buy with the buy, and with the sell. Alright? We typically buy from either EGTC or other independent power providers. Take car power sheet, for instance, Mafuth, or Cote d'Ivoire Energy, CI Energies, whether they send light to we through the Transco CLSG line. Now they supply light to Bo, Kenema, Pono, and the balance we can left in the Konagumuna, they can't return. Now, the IPPs, the power they pay for, we as a government, we usually charge with customers, specifically domestic customers, lower than what we pay for this light on average. Okay? Most of our customers then, we're all inside domestic users, we fall under the T1 category. What we pay for light is less than what we buy the light from car power. We pay, if you convert them to dollar cents, about 18 US cents. We buy from car power on average about 21 US cents. So as a business, before we even start, we have losses. Before we even begin the business of losses. And I think that anybody inside this room will run business, will run that kind of business. Or if you try for one, in no time, you're out of business. Luckily for us, the government has been very great in terms of subsidizing EDSA operations. And the reason for that is because the president believes light, all not forget access to light. Minister Alaji Kennedy always say, light now you right. That's his mantra. Light now right. And the president believes everybody in this country should have access to light. So because of that, so there were deficiencies there. The government always come in and subsidize for help keep EDSA lights on. But let's be fair here. Also at EDSA, we said we have small issues there. It's just the reality. In addition to the price difference, operationally as well, we already report T-flight business, we already report non-payment of utility bills. I would almost say most of us inside this room here, either the thief light or we don't put the thief light. Yes. Yes. In this room. Minister, the reason why I say that is this. Almost on a regular basis, as EDSA, right, we get complaints of theft of power. Okay? And in most of these complaints, EDSA personnel are used. And I will sit here and say that I will not defend them because we don't get cases where we don't prove, say, some EDSA staff are involved. So we know, say, some EDSA staff are involved. But the challenge here, Minister, is that most of the public will cry for light. When there is power theft in their community, if you ask them, help us identify the people so we can correct and fix. We don't get cooperation. So now like I say, almost all my inside, and not me say you a thief, but you must post with a thief light. Yes. Because our losses, Minister, are so high that the only way I can explain is the fact that somehow all of us are participating for being EDSA down. And bear in mind, as a business, we know they generate light. Now buy we buy and sell. Who sell, will get the money, who buy back the car. Now imagine if you get a small shop. They say, okay, fine, this shop here, and they go buy provision or they sell pharmaceuticals. If you go buy, then when you carry it, somebody carry too small, you can't go. Whatever revenue you make is not going to be enough for you to go buy the same quantity again. So over time, it becomes a problem. And that's where government has been very great to us. When there are these small deficits, the government comes in and helps. But I'm appealing to the public. I made that statement deliberately for letting people understand, say, yes, EDSA, we have issues, and I'm aware of it. But the public needs to come and help us. You have to help us identify who may be involved in illegal activities, whether they thief light. And once that's brought to our knowledge, we'll investigate. The good thing is that it's an allegation, an accusation. Until it's proven, we need to just act. We'll go through the process. In addition to that, the other main issue we're struggling with is some members of the community actually vandalize we assets there. Our transformers, almost every other week, you will hear say they don't work for that transformer, they don't work for that cable. As I sit here, we just get reports from the far Cornish and when they don't cut cable there. Now, when that happens, we are affected. But what's also important to note is that the public is equally affected. So if the public decides to, hey, this is my brother, I'm your man, I don't want to, they know I don't cut that cable there, what you are doing is you are destroying us, and also destroying all the way around you. Because if Mine will sell like Mr. Bar, and he will give me that money, and then will buy it, because like the was, guess what happens? And then will buy it.
All right, I think.
Mr. If I may, I need to just.
Okay, I'll give you an extra minute. Because I want Le and Timai get a chance, and I will say questions, and they will get a chance to go.
And finally, waiting at one for emphasize again is, whenever lights go, the first highlight is, it's an one light. It's an one light. But if you understand now that, now buy, we sell, they buy. With the buy, we sell. We'll get the money, we'll go buy back. And also, any businessman or woman, when they get in business, when they buy and sell the paper, and they go buy and market, can say, so I don't sell it to someone. And they give out to myself. It doesn't make sense. We are mindful of our challenges. We know the issues. We support of the government and donor partners. And given what we don't do so far, I hope this gives comfort that as EDSA and under leadership of Alaji Kandesi and President Bio, that we are trying to do everything possible to minimize this revenue loss. Because if we will make enough money for pay bills, we're not going to talk there. So thank you, Minister, for your time.
Wow. I really want to say, and thank you, Minister, for the indication of applause. I want to pay tribute to my brother July, because you see, Salon, most times in the conversation, it can be fact-free. All man does it talking you. what we don't witness now today, and you know, so what they give yourself pats on the back. But I think